Talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
There will always be some uncertainty about how quickly he can acquire a nuclear weapon, but we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. I'm in Miami. You see this hat? Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this hat? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. We're going to have relationships with new people that will make us prosperous and safe. I've never seen anybody like it. This is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
All right. Well, we'll be watching what's next on Cuba. For sure, got a lot of hats there. The president.
I can say from firsthand experience that a new giant wall between the United States and Mexico, from sea to shining sea, makes no sense whatsoever.
Are you okay with voter ID?
So voter ID is currently required in the state of Texas. I opposed having to
How about for mail-in ballots? How about having to send your ballot in? Should you have to prove who you are? Because that's what Democrats are opposing.
Pete, I just said I oppose voter ID. Currently, it's a law in Texas, but I oppose that law because I think you don't need it.
You oppose voter ID? You don't think the most sacred obligation of our republic, you should have to prove who you are in order to vote?
So there are a lot of Texans, actually hundreds of thousands, who don't have a driver's license.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Statement from the administration. The president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama about Libya.
Let's bring in Fox News control.
You make jokes about people in prison in El Salvador. I mean, these things they speak to the heart of Americans and what we see people are going through. It's not a political standpoint to me. We try to see the humanity in people, and it doesn't seem like people on the right side are capable of that. This is what people voted for. We knew very well who Trump was during the first term, where he had the family separation policy, where he was putting children in cages. People voted for that again and again. I'm done pretending that there are people out there who will see this and be outraged by it. The polling numbers just show that's not true. People will say they don't like it, but they showed up to the voting booth and voted for him again and again.
You were chief of staff for ICE, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What years were you there?
2021 to 2023.
So that was during the Biden administration, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So presumably you're well-versed in border security and immigration enforcement, is that right?
Yes, sir. I would say that I'm very aware. I also worked at CBP under the Obama administration. Yes, sir.
Got it. So you've got a lot of experience there. I'm going to ask you a few questions. In an interview with the Daily Blast on February 28th, 2024, you mentioned, quote, "You can't deter and punish your way to lowering encounters at the border," end quote. Do you think you were right or wrong about that?
100%, sir. What we've seen...
100% what? Right or wrong?
100% I was correct.
You were correct about that?
Yes, sir. Okay. The idea that you just dismantle an immigration system is not... There was a mandate to the Trump administration.
Illegal alien border encounters are down 95% right now. I think you were wrong about that. You also said, quote, "The idea that you can turn off the border is just not factual." Do you think that was right or wrong?
Sir, the threats that we're still seeing across the border.
You think you're right or wrong about that statement?
What's that, sir?
My question is, were you right or wrong about that statement?
When you
That
turn
can
off
just
the
turn off
immigration
border?
system, sir, yes, you will not see encounters. Yes.
Well, southwestern border encounters are at a 15-year low under President Trump. Another thing that you mentioned, quote, just shutting off the border to asylum seekers is not going to do that, meaning close the border. What I think is going to do that is make it more erratic and sporadic for the sort of large surges of migrants you would see coming across the border. Do you think that was right or wrong?
100% correct. It was correct, sir. We're going to see that over the next couple of years. Yes.
Border apprehensions are down now because President Trump has secured our border. He's stopped the flow of illegal aliens coming across our border and coming to our border. Do you think that we have a better or worse border situation now than we did under Joe Biden?
Sir, I believe the border is secure.
You believe the border is secure? That's right.
The enemy in an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. Iran's drone and missile capability is being utterly demolished. The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But think of it. We knocked out 46 and actually took 3.5 days. Their terrorist leaders are gone. We're counting down the minutes until they will be gone. Think of it. We had leaders and they're gone. Then we had new leaders and they're gone. And now nobody has any idea who the people are that are going to be the head of the country and will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. You know, they've said this about a lot of things. No other president could do some of this shit I'm doing. No other president. The things I'm doing, nobody else was going to do it. They say it all the time. Sir, could you do this? You're the only one can do it.
All right, Monday night and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good as always. Be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me say hey to everybody in the chat. Granite 2468 is on. Auntie Mama's on. Linesmanson is on. Robin Aroni is on. JG CK is on. Scooter Magruder is on. Agravane is on. Skunk 71 is on. Laura Jean Lynn is on. Big Jim Go Blue is on. Richard Perry is on. Mike Griffith is on. Let me see. Judy Anita is on. Deb Plan is on. Our USA Abby Girl is on. A. Wethy is on. Robin Aroni is on. Clean Sanchez is on. Conservative Warrior is on. Charlie 340 is on. Spoken 007 is on. Scrolling down. Ever Eden is on. Arcadia Angel is on. And John's 127 is on. C. Densmore is on. The one and only Release the Hog is on. Let me see here. Patrina C is on. Gloyd Shaw is on. Bud 64 is on. Let me see here. Okay, I've screwed it up again. There we go. Rumble's broken. It's broken. LA 106 times is on. Or I got that one. Let me see. I think I scrolled myself back up way up high. Oh, here we go. Salty Gonads is on. Scrolling down. The great T1AU is on. Milwaukee James is on. Peg McGroin is on. Let me see here. Uncle Wally is on. Let me grab one or two more. Aphrodite's is on. Sheila K is on. My Broken Heart is on. Captain Cliff is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's hop right to this here. Now, just off of the pregame, I don't know how many of you saw the Lindsey Graham video. Aaron, see if you can find that for me. If you can find that, see if you can find it. But anyway, in case you missed it, you need to see this Lindsey Graham video because I just want to ask, and I want to appreciate everybody who sticks with the podcast, even when you disagree with me about Trump. A lot of people bail on it. There's even less attendance, not in person at the church, but I think even online at the church is less attendance because I'm speaking out against what Trump's doing in Iran, and because I don't consider it to be an anti-Israeli stand. I consider it to be an honest Israeli stand. So, people, I just want to appreciate you guys sticking with me, but I do want you to see this now, because again, this is from yesterday or today. So did you vote for this? Play for me.
I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. I'm in Miami. You see this hat? Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this hat? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. We're going to have relationships with new people that will make us prosperous and safe. I've never seen anybody like it. This is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
All right. Well, we'll be watching what's next on Cuba for sure.
Now, raise your hand as a MAGA person if you voted for Iran is going down and Cuba's next. Did you vote for that? I didn't vote for that. I did not vote for that. I did not vote for. And by the way, he's flying around Air Force One with Donald Trump. How many of you voted for Lindsey Graham? Because that's what we're getting, just so you know. And again, you're like, Tom, that means you're anti-Trump. Doesn't mean I'm anti-Trump. It means I'm anti what Trump is doing in the Middle East. And by the way, I was anti what George W. Bush. I voted for George W. Bush twice, too, as much as that makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I voted for George. I voted for Mitt Romney, okay? I mean, I can go back. I voted for Herbert Walker Bush. I didn't vote for Ross Perot. A lot of my cop friends voted for Ross Perot. I didn't vote for Ross Perot. I think that was the first election I voted in was Herbert Walker Bush. So anyway, I voted in 92. I think that was the first presidential election I voted in. But anyway, that's when Aaron was born. But anyway, I didn't vote for that. I mean, and I didn't vote for where our quote from Lindsey Graham, marching through the world, cleaning out the bad guys. Did you vote for that? You can, if you want to be pro-Trump, which I am, you can be pro-Trump and say, I'm against this. Can't you? Yeah. I mean, and by the way, I found Aaron may have told me this, or may have sent it to me, so I don't know. So Aaron, if I stole it from you, I apologize. But what is the number one contributor to AIPAC? The number one civilian private contributor to AIPAC? Because that's why we're in this war. We're doing this because we're being Israel's dog again to their tail. What's the number one private contributor to AIPAC? Does anybody know? OnlyFans. That's a fact. So we are actually prosecuting a war funded by OnlyFans for all intents and purposes. I mean, I just want you to know you need to understand the roots of these things and understand the root of all evil. You really do. It's not Israel. The love of money is the root of all evil. But OnlyFans is the love of money, obviously. So I just want you to see this and know this is where we're at. I did not vote for we're taking Iran is in Cuba's next. Did you? And maybe some of you are like, you know what? I want to see, armored personnel carriers launching onto the beaches of Cuba. Maybe you did. Maybe that's what you want. And I'll be rooting for America if we did it, because I would have to. Just like I'm rooting for America right now. And then there again, all of this is very duplicitous because you have people like me who are against the war but are rooting for America and are very complimentary of Hegseth and Trump's prosecution of this war. They're doing a great job. They're crushing our opponent. There is no holds barred. And by the way, Israel's crushing the opponent also. They are. And from what I've heard from the intel coming out of the Trump administration, from the insiders, is that this is a very collaborative effort between Israel and America, and they actually have a joint command center. All right. So, but there's also lots of stuff coming out right now, too, about Epstein and Mossad. Do you want to discuss both of those things? And how Epstein was, manipulating the world through honeypot, which is an Israeli honeypot operation. So, I mean, you have to talk about it from all angles. So again, you have to just be transparent. You just have to be honest. And again, this whole thing is very duplicitous because then you have the media who is never against, and I love that one video from Bill Maher, and then Bill Maher cucks afterwards. But anyway, where he says to he gives a quote from the Biden administration to Shifty Schiff, and he goes, where Obama just gave this, the president has these war powers. Do you believe that is too general? And Schiff goes, well, of course I do. And Bill Maher said, well, that's from the Obama administration for Libya. And nobody had any problems with the Libyan war because it was a Democrat that was conducting it. But because now Trump is conducting it, and again, you have to be an absolutely moralist, devoid of all humanity, devoid of all conscience human being to be a Democrat, because they're fine with that war against Libya, which, by the way, was really another tail wagging the dog operation, because Libya wanted to use the gold standard in all of Africa, pulling them off of the Israeli central banking system, which is Israeli founded. World War I was caused by the central banking system, founded, and it really is what everybody is a part of worldwide. So funny that as soon as Gaddafi had been doing evil things, state sponsors, terror, and all that for many, many years. But when he wanted to go the gold standard for the entire continent of Africa and had the gravitas to do it, suddenly, then you have Hillary Clinton. We saw he died. And then you have Benghazi, the Benghazi cover up also. But anyway, and the other angles are, so now you have the media lying about Trump's war. So yeah, I want to blast the media for lying about the war. You're going to blast the media for lying about a war you're against, Tom? Absolutely, because I side with the truth. Yep. What is the truth? The truth is the American military forces have proven themselves to be superior to everything. And I've espoused our vulnerabilities on this show, and I appear to have been wrong, at least to some degree. Because a lot of the air defense systems, now the hypersonic technology, that was testified to by the commander of the Air Force, that we are lacking in hypersonic technology in comparison to the Chinese. But a lot of the technology that our adversaries have, I'm talking about like Russia and I'm talking about like China, have been given to the Iranians, and it's being thwarted. It doesn't work against us. A lot of it was in Venezuela too. That didn't work. It doesn't work. So that we are the greatest. Was Lindsey Graham wrong that we're the greatest military that's ever existed? No, we are clearly the greatest military that's ever existed. And the great thing about Trump is he actually lets the military off the chain. If you're going to attack, at least he attacks. Okay, so we have to give him that. If you're going to attack, at least you're going to win. And you have the false reporting about the oil shortages, which we'll get into all that because we're going to do Iran first. All right, so Nick Sorter video breaking. President Trump says the war is very complete in Iran. Play it for me.
He has done some phone interviews with several outlets, most recently talking to CBS News' White House reporter, I should say. And in that interview with Wei Zhejiang, he said, I think the war is very complete, pretty much. They have no Navy, no communications. They've got no Air Force. He added that the U.S. is, quote, very far ahead of the initial 4 to 5 week estimated time frame. And then with that, we bring in Danny Denon.
Yeah, you're dealing with basically a week worth of operations, no Navy, no Air Force, no communications. They have at least 11 of their ships sitting in the bottom of the ocean right now. So again, great job prosecuting this war. Great job prosecuting it. I'm totally, completely against it, by the way. But you see how that is. It's just like when I was told I was no longer part of the MAGA movement because the original bombing of Iran, it still doesn't mean I'm not going to compliment that which is true. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to expose the false things. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to compliment Donald Trump. And it doesn't even mean I'm not going to vote for him again. And I mean, you're like, how? Well, you can't vote for him again. If somehow he did run again, doesn't mean I'm not going to vote for him again. If he's the best option, I'm not one that's going to be like, I'm not voting. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote. So, and I get the people, I don't get, like Nick Fuentes is talking about, is saying he's going to vote for Democrats. That's complete. I can't vote for some baby butchering leftist commie. That's not going to happen. I can understand people not voting. I can get that. I'm going to vote regardless. But I mean, anyway, so this war is being prosecuted in excellent fashion. It is taking no prisoners, figuratively speaking. I don't know if they are literally or not. But anyway, it is. I mean, Iran can do nothing. Donald Trump is now talking about flat out taking the Straits of Hormuz. One of the greatest threats in this war has been the Strait of Hormuz, where I believe it's 25 to 35% of all oil it has to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So people are very concerned about that and what would be the impacts on the the worldwide economy. But Donald Trump is now talking about, and I don't know if he maybe already has, and like we're a week, not a week, 24 to 48 hours behind, talking about taking the Strait of Hormuz. There's allegedly, and again, it all appears to be paper tigers, because you hear about whether it's the Republican Guard or whatever it is, nothing. It just ended up being nothing for the United States military. And by the way, I'm thrilled because I'm rooting for the United States military. No matter what, if it's a war I don't like, I still root for the United States military to win. And we'll celebrate all the guys that did heroic things when they come back. That's how you have to live. You have to live like that. You can't be a spoiled little baby that when things don't go your way, then you end up rooting against your own interest. And I'm not saying anybody would root against United States soldiers, but they were in the Vietnam War for sure. And would obviously never do anything like that, even though I'm against the war, because they're following orders. And it is a lawful war. It is. It's a lawful war. People can say whatever they want. Massey can say whatever he wants. Massey is out there right now, and I like Thomas Massey, but he's out there lying right now saying this is a violation of the War Powers Act. I don't like the war, but I can be honest about the War Powers Act. Donald Trump has 60 days, 60 to 90, depending on your interpretation of the War Powers Act. So that's just not true. It's just, it all has to be approved by Congress. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Do I wish that it had to be? In all honesty, no. Because the Congress is a bunch of buffoons. If I had to pick, obviously, the buffoonery that's in the 435 on Capitol Hill versus Donald J. Trump is by far superior to anybody in Congress. He really is. And that is just the way that it is. Although, again, once again, I'm against the war. But so one of the biggest contentions against this war was the Strait of Hormuz. And allegedly there is some real embedded, like underground Iranian defenses that everybody fears. Okay, well, none of it's panned out. So we just need to be honest. We want the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz to be ours in 12 hours. That's just the way that it is. People can talk about it, and sometimes they're psychologically rooting against not our military, but against Donald Trump. It doesn't matter. One bunker buster. Think about it right now. If your defenses are, concrete underground bunkers, what is that? What's that going to do? Bunker buster, one bunker buster. Hitler held underground all those, for however many months, years, whatever it was. Okay, that would be completely irrelevant today. Bunker busters, you're dealing with, I don't know how far they go underground. I'd be lying. I'm assuming they go 100 feet underground and explode, because the bunker busters what took out Iran's, or at least part of Iran's nuclear capacity. So anyway, if Trump wants, and he's talking about openly taking over the Strait of Hormuz. But anyway, the media came out and was talking about the economy's going down. Oil prices went from $60 a barrel to $120 a barrel, all the different numbers, and it's all going to cause a crash in the economy. All that was lies. Here it is. Aaron, you can mute the audio on this. You don't need it. Adam Hughes, it's a video, but it's more of a slide. You can just put it side by side, Aaron, when you can. Adam Hughes video, drive-by media. Oil tankers never stopped. You read oil tankers running dark. Here's the tweet first. Oil tankers never stopped crossing the Strait of Hormuz. Oil tankers running dark through Hormuz as media falsely declared strait closed. The Strait of Hormuz was never shut down throughout the ongoing conflict. Oil tankers have never stopped going to any degree. Oil tankers have been disabling their automatic identification systems, mandatory maritime safety transponders that broadcast real-time position, and identity data to ships, shore stations, and satellites. Once to the straits, vessels restore their AIS system. So there you go. Media reported the crisis that was not happening, causing oil and gas prices to spike. Go right to the next one for me. And that's why you have this. That's the media, the left-wing media caused this. But Tom, you're against the war. That doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I support people lying about the war. It certainly doesn't mean that I want there to be negative economic consequences on any American as a result of the war. I want us to win the war. I want us to win the war with zero economic impact on any Republican or Democrat. How do you like that? How do you like that? That's where I stand. And the media caused that green line. The media caused it to spike for, you can see, a very short period of time because of their lies and Goebbels propaganda. And now it's cascading down. Eric, you blow that up. Is that 85? Yeah, I think I got it. $85 a barrel. So we're right back to where we were before. And it was all coming out. This is the greatest oil price increase in a day. It was all because of the lie, because it was focused on the Strait of Hormuz because 25% of the oil that's sent around the world goes through the Strait of Hormuz. And the media says it was closed. It was never closed. It was never hindered. It was all freaking lies to try to thwart Donald Trump. And that hurts our military. And that hurts. What's so funny is Democrats will continue to love CNN, and CNN caused it. CNN caused you to pay more for gas. CNN did that. So anyway, and it was funny too, because I was reading an article today just about the SOR, Strategic Oil Reserve. And Donald Trump had it all planned to fill that thing for $20 a barrel, and it was actually blocked by Democrats. I mean, just so you know who you are when you're a Democrat. You're a worthless pile of human excrement. That's what you are. That's what you are. I mean, because you're just it's flat out lies. You're a liar who lies and lies about your lies, who watches other liars. All right, let's go to the next one. So here's a deep dive on this from Peter St. Onge. Will we see 1970s oil shortages? Thanks to Trump, America doesn't need Middle East oil, but Asia needs it to survive. Here's a breakdown of the threat of oil, of the lack of oil reaching, or oil, the lack of oil, or oil not reaching certain areas of the globe. Here's a deep dive on it. Peter St. Onge, play it for me.
Are we headed for a 1970s oil crisis? Will the motorists of America be fighting over gasoline like it's Cabbage Patch Kids in 1984? A week and a half into the Iran war, the main impact so far has been oil prices. But oil shortages are next, with roughly 1/5 of global exports exposed to Iranian missiles. Fortune calls this a, quote, energy shock coming like a tsunami for Asia, for China, Japan, Korea, and above all, India. America happily is insulated since we drill most of our oil here at home. We drilled. Just 2% of our oil is imported from the Middle East. Europe is almost as good. They get oil from Norway, black market oil from Russia, and of course U.S. exports as well. It's a different story in Asia. Half of China or India's oil comes from the Middle East. Korea is 2/3. Japan is almost 95% Middle East oil. That means a long war impacts the U.S. or Europe mainly by oil prices, but the shortages hit Asia. The question is how fast. So the first to go is India, along with Pakistan and Bangladesh. They have at most 30 days oil, since they have almost no stockpiles because their governments are dysfunctional and cannot repair a pothole, much less a strategic oil reserve. Southeast Asia is almost as bad. Indonesia or Philippines have maybe 60 days. And a history of riots when there's no gas. Japan and Korea plan ahead and have enormous stockpiles, so they probably got 7 or 8 months. And finally, China, who has just 3 months of stockpile between government and private stocks. In days, that's almost identical to U.S. stocks, 85 days, but the difference is America produces 14 million barrels a day, about 2/3 of consumption, with Canada, Mexico, and now Venezuela making up the gap. But China produces just 1/4 of consumption, about 4 million barrels, with the Middle East making up nearly 2/3 of the gap. So China's got 3 months, Southeast Asia's got 2, India's got just 1. And what happens then? 2 things: restrictions on consumption and strangling the factories that sustain Asian economies and jobs. China has already banned export of diesel and gasoline. Others will follow. They'll try price controls, but those make shortages worse. People go to the black market, which carries a risk premium as well as a scale premium. So next is rationing to households. Things like if your license plate ends at a 9, you can only drive Monday and Wednesday. And then factory shutdowns, starting partial, maybe you have to close on the weekends, then expanding until the only ones who can get oil are government. Governments always eat first, hospitals, and maybe farmers. Now, this is all painful. It implies tens of millions of layoffs in Chinese factories, and fuel shortages have historically caused mass riots in India or Indonesia. So what they'll try instead is buy up the rest of the world's oil, jetting off to Texas or Norway with great fistfuls of dollars. That could, in theory, cause shortages in the U.S. and Europe. But remember, if oil stays at $100 or $150, there's a lot of marginal U.S. production that comes online. So we'll have enough, even with Asians throwing money at West Texas crude. And worst case, Trump just bans oil exports. Texas crude drops $20 and everybody else stays expensive. So what's next? Brought to you by I Trust Capital. The war drags on. It will cause worldwide convulsions that hit Asia hardest and then cascade through oil prices to a slowdown in the U.S. and possible recession in Europe. Will not be the 1970s, but in a long war, it could get close.
So you can see the lies coming from the media. And if the export, like I said, somewhere between 25 and 35% of worldwide oil exports go through the Strait of Hormuz, if that was actually closed, but it never was. But for America, I love the numbers here. So we actually produce 14 million barrels of oil per day, just the United States of America, and we only get 2% of our oil from that region. Why are we fighting there? Can anybody explain what our vital American interests are? Anybody? I would love to know that. But anyway, so and even if it went up to $150 a barrel, basically twice what it is right now, we do what's called provisional production. So automatically our production goes up. So we would go from, say, 14 million barrels of production per day to, let's say, 21 million. And then that would lower our prices back down to $80 a barrel if everybody's seeing it. And just to run the numbers here real quick so everybody knows what they are. Europe gets their oil, which is really hysterical to me. So the European Union, who all want to fight Russia, right? Russia. It's funny how all that's faded from the headlines now. But anyway, it's funny how it has faded from the headlines, especially now because now Euro's only gas line is Russia. So because the European Union gets most of its gas from Norway and from black market Russian oil. In other words, oil that the government is getting going around their treaties, going around their sanctions. Remember, it's fighting Russia because of their totalitarianism and then funding Russia's war, buying their oil. Everybody thinks I know not the 525 that are watching this show right now, but everybody thinks, and everybody loves to think in terms of white hats versus black hats. There is no such thing. There isn't. Outside of the blood of the Lamb, there is nothing. There's no good. And Jesus even said, he even went to the rich young ruler. Why do you call me good? He knew at the time that he was God, but the rich young ruler may not have known that he was God. So he's like, why do you call me good? For there's no one good outside of God. So there's nothing good. What do you have here is you have a bunch of people saying, we need to go into Ukraine, Slavic Ukraine. We need to fight those evil Russians while we fund the war against Ukraine, who were supporting the war the other way too. So they're giving money to Ukraine to fight Russia and Russia to fight Ukraine. It can't be that way, right, Aaron? It has to be. It has to be good guys. It has to be John Wayne and horse riding and the good guy.
Of course.
It has to be, right? And that's not the case. Just want you to see how dark the world is so you run to Jesus if you haven't yet. Let me see. So India, if there is massive, which there doesn't appear to be, by the way, because it looks like Trump may take control, because Trump does not want anything to get in the way of his economic revival. He doesn't want anything to get in the way. And the lies from the media about people taking back their investments in the United States, that's not happening because the Strait of Hormuz is wide open. It's wide open, and Trump is talking about keeping it open. Trump is talking about actually taking the Strait of Hormuz and just keeping it open via American control, which, again, I'm against it, but it would work really well to keep Trump's economic revival happening. And his economic revival is, in fact, happening. And I'll show you the lies of the job report in just a minute because that's all lies, too. Tom, I thought you were against Trump. I never said I was against Trump. I said I'm against this war. Remember that? Just like I was in June of 2025, and I basically sang Trump's praises from June of 2025 until March of 2026 because he did all great things in between there. I hate to be a beautiful bill too, by the way, but it has some big, beautiful things in it. But anyway, if there's a worldwide oil shortage, India runs out in a month, Thailand and Vietnam in 2 months, China runs out in 3. They only produce 4 million barrels of oil per day for 1.4 billion people. The rest of it comes from the Middle East and other sources. Japan and Korea can run for 8 or 9 months without much coming out of the Middle East because they have a massive SOR. All right, so let's go to the next one. The general tweet, just to show you this stuff. Breaking, the State Department has approved a 151.8 million emergency ammunition sale to Israel, bypassing Congress entirely. No, that's a weird coincidence, isn't it? But it isn't. I mean, it wouldn't be that we're fighting this war for Israel or for the military-industrial complex.
Never.
And what's always so funny about that for me is you talk about not playing 4D chess. If you're a Republican who loves these wars, who is getting rich off of the wars? Your political opponents. Lindsey Graham is a product of the military-industrial complex, as is Mitch McConnell, a product of the military-industrial complex and of the Chinese mercantile system. They're products of those things. And they're our opponents, not to mention all the people on the left. I mean, I want you to ask yourself, is Lockheed Martin Republican or Democrat? Honeywell, Republican or Democrat? Ask yourself these questions because they're the ones that are getting rich. And then what candidates are they going to fund? Certainly isn't going to be right wing, because those of us on the right wing don't want wars. If we don't want wars, then they lose trillions. And I mean trillions. This is just a this is just a one-off right here. $151.8 million emergency ammunition sale to Israel is about a week's worth of ammo because it's coming again and it's coming again. We put $350 billion into Ukraine for nothing. For nothing. And this is another thing. What are you going to get out of this war? I'm going to get safety. When did you ever walk out your door and say, is an Iranian going to kill me today? Did you? You're going to get safety out of this Iranian war? Why? I mean, literally, you're more scared of lightning and a thunderstorm than you are an Iranian. How are they going to reach you when they can't even reach from the river to the sea, basically, with real missiles? They can't do it. So what was the purpose of this war? Especially considering we allegedly ended their nuclear weapons program back in June of 2025. But here you are once again. Everybody's getting rich but you. Everybody's getting rich but you. And everybody's dying but them. Everybody's getting rich but you, and everybody's dying but them. And another military soldier from the report that I saw today died again, so we're up to 7 that are dead already. And I know that's low numbers, but not for the parents of those kids. And I mean, you have Lindsey Graham, this tub of lard, okay, who's very suspiciously single. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, for all these years, very happy about, again, I mean, I'm going to see if I can find the quote. I buried it deep. Oh, no, did I find it? Oh, yeah, here it is. Good, here we go. We are marching through the world, cleaning out the bad guys. Who's we? He's got a mouse in his pocket. Who's we? It's not, Lindsey Graham's never taken up a gun in his life. Lindsey Graham in his prime. And I remember him during the Clinton impeachment trials, during his prime. He couldn't jog then 10 yards. He's never done a single push-up in his life. But we are marching through the world, cleaning out the bad guys? And Iran is down and Cuba's next? And now right here, once we have again, so Tom's just anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, anti-Israel. I'm not anti any of those things. What I am anti is a primarily funded through OnlyFans AIPAC buying its way into Middle East wars, buying our way. Well, I mean, buying the United States or basically bribing the United States into Middle East wars. Not interested in that. And every single person that wants us in the war, look at their AIPAC donations, shall we? Let's look at their AIPAC donations. All right, let's go to the next one. Eric Doherty video. It's official. The U.S. has intercepted encrypted communications from Iran that may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper cells in the Western Hemisphere. Play it for me.
Meantime, an alarming report of threats outside Iran. ABC News reports Iran may be activating sleeper cells. Quote, the U.S. has intercepted encrypted communications believed to have originated in Iran that may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets outside the country. If true, further illustrating Secretary of State Marco Rubio's point, we are fighting a terrorist government.
The United States is currently engaged in an operation targeting the world's leading hostage taker, the world's leading sponsor of terrorism. They are trying to hold the world hostage. They are attacking their neighbors. They are attacking neighboring countries, their energy infrastructure, their civilian population. They're attacking embassies. This is a terrorist government. This is a terroristic regime. And we are seeing them conduct terrorism using nation-state elements, using weapons like missiles and one-way attack drones. And the objective of this mission is to destroy their ability to continue to do that.
Again, I don't even know necessarily. I mean, you have to see the intel behind that, which of course we'll never see. But anyway, these sleeper cells being activated in the Western Hemisphere. Well, we're already seeing, obviously we've seen various terrorist incidents and terrorist plots, and which we're going to dive into right now in the Islamic section of the show. But anyway, this is my whole thing with this is where I am. I'm not sitting on the fence with this, but I really don't care about them activating their sleeper cells, because here's where I side with the Trump administration. Iran definitely is a terrorist nation and a state sponsor of terror. That is for sure. Now, most of the time, when we have been victims of their state-sponsored terror, it's because we are already in the Middle East. We don't belong in the Middle East. We don't belong having a Marine barracks that can be bombed by Hezbollah, which is state-sponsored by Iran. We don't belong being there to begin with. But Iran still committed the evil act and deserves to die for it. Specific to the situation, they deserve to pay the price for it. So anyway, and they deserve to be hit when they do various different terrorist acts. But a lot of times it's because of our very faulty military-industrial complex-driven military base system around the globe that makes us vulnerable. You hear people like Rubio's notorious war hawk is like, we are tired of Iran bombing our bases. Why do we have bases there? Does everybody realize that right now, like Spain won't let us launch out of Spain? And Spain is a cuck-tard country, okay? Very much so. They're about to have a nationalist revolution, possibly. I mean that in a nonviolent sense. But they've got some good things going on. But right now, their current government, they won't allow us to launch out of there. So what do? We launched out of the United States. There's also other countries. We don't need any real bases there anymore. The day of having to have a base in Beirut, which we did, which the one that got bombed by state-sponsored Iran, possibly, I don't remember back whether it was state-sponsored by Iran or not, but probably was to some extent. And all of the roadside bombs that hit us in Iraq and various other times that were allegedly state-sponsored by Iran. Why were we ever there to begin with? Why were we ever in Iraq? How's that worked out for you? How's that worked out for any of us? How's that benefited us at all? I would get it to some degree if Iraq was some sort of United States territory now, like Greenland should be. I would understand that, but it's not. Same thing with Afghanistan. Afghanistan is very valuable. It's basically a whole bunch of rocks, but it's got rare earths everywhere. And one of the most strategically valuable, talk about a strategically valuable base, which is Bagram, which was given up by the Biden administration, which Trump said he would never give up because Trump's way smarter than any Democrat. But anyway, so I don't get on this train of, do you see what you caused? You caused the Iranians to activate their sleeper cell systems because of this war, which again, I'm against. But again, I'm not going to lie, because Israel's sleeper cells are always activated and they're always terrorists because they're Muslim. Because that's the book, which I always marvel at, because many Christians are antithetical to the Bible. They don't believe the Bible, but call themselves Christians. But Muslims are different. They actually do follow their book, which calls for worldwide jihad, which calls for worldwide subjugation. All right, so let's get into Islam real quick. Matt Walsh tweet. So there's been a mass shooting and a bomb threat on a plane. This is from late last week. Since the war in Iran, there was another thwarted, I believe, bomb threat in an American consulate somewhere. I can't remember. But anyway, war in Iran began a week ago. Somehow there's basically no national conversation about this. Why would that be? Look at the bottom of Benny Johnson. Southwest Flight 2094 was diverted to Atlanta, and passenger was detained reportedly over a bomb threat. And then, of course, we had the bomb actually thrown inside of NYC, which we're going to deep dive into that in just a second. And the reason why nobody will talk about it, if this was Christians, it'd be worldwide news. Well, Christians don't do this. Just like I say when it'll be Republicans, but Republicans don't do this. It's very simple. Election fraud would be a huge, huge story every single day of our lives. But since Republicans don't do it, it is constantly suppressed. It's the same thing here. Islam is a violent, false, fraudulent, cultist religion. That's what it is. I hate the religion of Islam. I hate it because it causes people to go to hell, and it causes all of this. Let's go to the next one. Now let's deep dive into NYC. Dr. Maloff video. New York City right now looks like a literal war zone. A coalition of pro-Ayatollah far-left activists and Muslims are currently rioting. They are shouting Allah Akbar, throwing Molotov cocktails, and attacking anyone they think is a Zionist. Play it for me.
back, guys.
Get somebody on the other side. Get somebody on the other side.
Street! Out of the street! Somebody left their skateboard! Want to get it back?
All right, so there you go. Now, I'm very thankful that the bomb did not go off in that particular scenario there, because I don't know what the guy did with the device itself, but when all those cops tackling him, if that thing went off while everybody was tackling him, who knows? I mean, obviously we'd be dealing with mass death. But anyway, let's go to the next one. So you see what's happening in the streets, and like, again, I'm not sitting here going, this war in Iran is causing this. There's people that are very anti the Iran war on the right that will say this is causing this. It's not, because Islam is always doing this. I mean, it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter whether it's a Democratic administration that is even pro-Islamic, then they have even greater license to commit acts of violence on our streets. Doesn't matter. So I'm not taking that angle, just so you know. This is strictly an attack on Islam, not an attack on the war, which I'm against. But this is strictly an attack on Islam itself. Nick Sorter video breaking. Both Muslim bombing suspects pledged their allegiance to ISIS after being taken into custody. Then, Brent, we're going to go right to the next one. Libs of TikTok video. Both Muslim jihadists who tried to bomb NYC have parents who became naturalized U.S. citizens, one from Turkey, the other from Afghanistan. Play it for me.
As alleged, both defendants have admitted that they acted on Saturday because of ISIS. As Qayyumi was being placed into an NYPD vehicle following his arrest, a person in the crowd asked why he had done this. As shown on NYPD body-worn camera footage referenced in the complaint, Qayyumi responded with ISIS. And at the precinct, after being advised of his Miranda rights and waiving those rights, Qayyumi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS. The complaint also details statements made by Amir Balat after his arrest. En route to the NYPD precinct, Balat made spontaneous statements without being questioned by NYPD officers that were captured on body-worn camera footage. He said, "This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the Prophet. We take action, as well as, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it." And later, after waiving his rights, he requested paper and wrote a message declaring in part, "I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you kuffar." Now, "die in your rage" is a commonly known ISIS slogan, and kuffar is an Arabic term that refers to non-believers. He also told investigators that he had hoped to carry out an attack even bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing, which he noted resulted in only 3 deaths. These statements, as set forth in the complaint, make clear that this was not random violence. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a violent foreign terrorist organization. The complaint alleges not only why the defendants acted, but how. Preliminary testing has determined that one of the devices contained triacetone triperoxide, or TATP, also commonly referred to as Mother of Satan, a highly volatile explosive that has been used in multiple terrorist attacks over the last decade. As we have previously discussed, the NYPD identified a vehicle yesterday on East End Avenue that was linked to the defendants. Inside that vehicle, investigators recovered handwritten notes referencing TATP explosive and listing chemical ingredients for the type of explosive device used by the defendants on Saturday. Make no mistake, what happened this weekend was incredibly dangerous, and the ongoing investigation will be exhaustive. From the first moments of that investigation, the NYPD has been working seamlessly with our federal partners, many of whom have joined us here. In particular, the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes
Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi are now reportedly in federal custody, being interviewed by the FBI in connection to the devices. Our Bill Malusian has learned that Balat's parents are naturalized U.S. citizens from Turkey, and Qayyumi's parents are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. One of the suspects was captured saying this as he was taken into custody.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yes, Allahu Akbar.
So the confirmed IED, the one that we know has been tested and confirmed to be an explosive, well, that was thrown yesterday afternoon outside Gracie Mansion during a clash of protest. The initial protest was called Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City, Stop New York City Public Muslim Prayer.
Hey, you saw it. It was like the Muslims versus Jake Lang there. You saw Jake Lang walking through the street with a goat. I'll leave it at that. Not good. But anyway. I have some stuff rolling through my mind, but I'm not going to say it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But anyway, so I mean, I'm going to skip the next one, guys. I'm going to skip the next one. I'm going to read it to you. Western Lensman video. So this is the parent. Actually, side by side that'd be good. Just side by side the pic. There we go. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Actually, Aaron, you can run that. Just mute it, so you can run it whenever you can. So this is Western Lensman right here. Western Lensman's video. All right, parents of ISIS NYC bomb thrower own $2.5 million Pennsylvania home.
Wow.
Are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. I would love to know what year they got here. Come to the U.S. From a hostile foreign nation. This is Western Lensman, live abundant lifestyle, gain citizenship. Kid radicalized to commit violence on behalf of hostile foreign ideology. New York City mayor repeatedly condemns white supremacy. It really is unreal. We import our own problems. Who would ever do that? We don't ever do it in our own homes, but in America, we actually import our own domestic terrorists. Isn't that great? Let me see if I want to do this one or not. I'm going to see if some of these are distancy charges announced again. Okay, that one's good. You skip the next one too, Brent.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I got to show you this one. And I know a lot of you have already seen this stuff, but I got to show it just in case you didn't. We're going to Ryan Fournier next. The moron is screaming. I have to show you. Here's the left. I mean, this is the actual living embodiment of the leftist in 2026. The moron is screaming, everyone is welcome in New York, while a radical Islamic terrorist throws the bomb over his shoulder at Jake Lang. Play it for me.
And we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
All right, I'll put Aaron, run that if you could. Just the video. Yeah, run it side by side and mute it. But I mean, this is literally what it means to be an American. All are welcome, just like right out of Animal House. All is well. Everything. Look at it. And Allah Akbar gets yelled over his shoulder while he throws the bomb at Jake Lang. That's what it means to be a Democrat. What was that? Was your daughter, dummy? You look at this guy. Of course, he is a typical cuck boy, absolute cuck boy with his bullhorn, leftist. With a little gay jacket on and everything else. Probably gay in and of himself. But anyway, typical leftist. As you have a terrorist throwing a bomb over you, you're advocating for that man to be in the country. That man is in the country. It's not him, literally. It's the other bomber, but he's the other one who handed him the bomb is the one from the $2.5 million Pennsylvania home from naturalized Afghani parents. I mean, literally, this right here, there's probably 1 million freeze frames of that right there. That should be the picture used for every Republican to run for whatever seat they want to run for in 2028 or in the midterms of 2026. And he writes, go to the next one for me. Here, that guy's name is Walter. Of course, his name is Walter. Walter Masterson. That's the guy's name. And he actually responds to all this. I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into the city when he threw that over my head. Now you're like, okay, well, you know what? He must have come to his senses. And now will just absolutely say, you know what? Maybe take a step back, maybe moderate his views. Maybe we need to vet at least some people. No, look at the bottom. And I still stand by it. As a born and raised in New Yorker, everyone is welcome. Everyone except Chief Goat Blanker Jake Lang. So the one who wants to keep him, I'm not a big fan of Jake Lang, okay? He's okay. I don't know if he's okay. Okay, there's a lot. That's what was running through my head earlier. There's a lot of criticism that I could give you for him. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't know if it's true. I'd have to deep dive in it. But I believe in protesting, speaking your mind, taking a goat out in public and acting like you're committing a sex act with it. Okay, that's too much. All right. And not because you're going to instigate the Muslims, because the Muslims don't need to be instigated by anything. But again, it just gets to be where how much are you trying to win a political argument? How much are you trying to advocate a political point or advance a political agenda? And how much are you trying to get clicks? Gets to that point, okay? And that's on right and left. And many on the right are like that. But anyway, and most and everybody on the left is like that. But this just shows you, he's not pulling back on where he stands. He had a literal terrorist that he's welcoming to stay in the city, throw a bomb over his left shoulder, and still says, I stand by what I said. That's what it means to be a leftist in 2026. Let's go to the next one. Still on Islam now, jumping off the bombing part. I mean, therefore I am video breaking. Socialist NYC Mayor Zohran Mamdani faces backlash after his wife, Rama Dawaji, liked multiple Instagram posts celebrating the October 7th attack, with some claiming it was a mass rape hoax and promoting the slogan "From the river to the sea." Play for me.
My wife is the love of my life, and she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall. I, however, was elected to represent all 8.5 million people in this city, and I believe that it's my responsibility, because of that role, to answer any questions about my thoughts and my policies and my decisions.
Thank you.
Nobody asked if she was your lifelong love. Nobody asked if she was a private citizen. She was asked, why was it that she liked multiple Instagram posts celebrating the October 7th attack, and some claiming that it was a massive rape hoax, and supporting the slogan "From the river to the sea." That's what was asked of you, Zohran Mamdani. That's what was asked, not your lifelong love and the love of your life and a private person. This man never answers a question, ever. And I hate when Kristi Noem does it, and I hate when Zohran Mamdani does it. Kristi Noem, did you have an affair with Corey Lewandowski? Yes or no? Simple question. Answer the question. Doesn't answer. I hate when people don't answer a question. Tom, can people lose their salvation? Yes or no? Yes. There you go. How hard is that? Tom, is it a sin to lie? Yes. Tom, is it a sin to have sex outside of marriage? Yes. Is it a sin to be a homosexual? Yes. What else? Tom, should I be tithing? Yes. Anything else? Whatever you want. I'll give you yes or no. If it's a yes or no, possible yes or no response, I will give you a yes or no response. All right, Tommy Robinson video. This is all the Islam stuff. This right here I found particularly shocking. Tommy Robinson's 15 days inside of the U.S. right now. Love and Life, by the way. You can watch some of his videos. New York City business owners are finding Muslim cops. So you now have cops that are Muslim cops. I already showed you their prayer vigil that they had, the Muslim cops instead of NYPD. Pretty soon, it won't be long. The majority of NYPD will be a Sharia patrol. It won't be long. And all the leftists, including the Jews inside of New York City, are going to vote for it. And you're like, Tom, that's not, I'm telling you right now, it's so duplicitous. I can't dive into it because it's 9:57. But the whole Jewish Islam thing is so duplicitous that you will have Jewish people voting for their own, again, like we import our own terrorists, they will vote for their own demise. They will vote for their own lack of safety, simply because they're all leftists. And Muslims are practicing a taqiyya, using leftism as a taqiyya practice to usher forward their own monarchy sort of Islam Sharia law. And that's how it is. It is that complex. You just have to be able to walk in the nuances. So many New York business owners are finding Muslim cops sneaking into their restrooms, and I'm assuming like broom closets, and setting up and praying during their shifts. Play it for me.
Yo, bro, I don't even know what's going on, but nigga, I'm trying to go to the bathroom and look. Nigga got 12 in here praying. Bro, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Salva's in there praying right now, bro. Bro. What are you doing? I'm just coming bro. Go pray in the car of the precinct. This ain't no fucking mosque, nigga. What's up with y'all niggas, bro? Look, in my ear too, nigga. This ain't no fucking mosque, nigga. Yeah. You on this? Yeah, I do. You on this? Yeah, I do. Okay.
It won't be long. It won't. Aaron, give me. It won't be long in Trump.
It won't be long.
There you go.
Just wait.
I'm telling you. You're going to have Muslims that are going to be in charge of responding to terrorist Muslims in New York. I don't know how that's going to go. Let's change subjects. I have to show you this. Aaron sent this in, and I never saw it. He and I are sending stuff in all throughout the weekend. This was Saturday. So we're sending, when I say send in, we have our own account that we send all of our stuff into, and Aaron and I are always populating. We'll send stuff in too. Brent, you can too. See stuff, clip it, and send it in. But anyway, so Aaron found this jewel, which just made me throw up in my mouth. And just so you know, most Republicans are 100% behind this. We all know that J6 was a Fedsurrection, with somewhere between 150 and 200 feds, and not that's just feds, in the crowd on J6, not to mention Metro PD under Muriel Bowser, all in there instigating the violence. And again, there were some morons in there who committed some misdemeanors, whatever. I'm not counting. That's not what I'm talking about. There's people. If you're gonna go through a broken window into the Capitol, you're a dummy. Whether you vote MAGA or not, you're a dummy. If you're walking through a broken window, the odds are you're committing a crime. That doesn't mean you should get shot through the neck like Ashley Babbitt, however. See how you have to walk in nuance. But anyway, so this Meet the Press J6 plaque, isn't that, Aaron? I just want to congratulate Brent. Congratulate Aaron, the 547 people that are watching right now, that this is where your taxpayer dollars are going. We're $38 trillion in debt, $38.8 trillion in debt. And we are spending, I don't know, who knows? We know that it's the government. So a plaque that would normally cost $10,000 probably cost $37,000. But anyway, January 6th plaque installed at the U.S. Capitol following years-long delay. Trump should immediately get this thing taken down. He should get it taken. Now go to the next one for me. Here's just an up-close pic of the plaque for everybody to see. On behalf of a grateful Congress, this plaque honors the extraordinary individuals who...
Yeah.
who bravely protected... Aaron, give me a little Kinzinger. We held.
You held. You won.
What is it?
Your heroes.
Your heroes. You won.
You won.
They opened the doors. We have the video. They took down the barricades and they opened the doors. How did they, who bravely protected and defended the symbol of democracy on January 6, 2021, how is Trump even allowing this to be put up? I know it's the House. He doesn't have any power. Well, Mike Johnson. Because Mike Johnson is weighing the political consequences of not having it put up. If you are somebody who considers the cost and you're sitting there going, what are going to be the political consequences of this action? If you know that it is wrong to do it and you weigh the political consequences of not doing it, you are already corrupt. If you know that it's wrong and you're weighing the consequences of doing it or not doing it, but you know that it's wrong and you're going to allow it to happen, you're already corrupt. This should never happen. It's a Fedsurrection. It's an absolute joke. There was no heroic action taken by cops for all intents and purposes. There was maybe some against some isolated incidences that were instigated by feds, so the cops didn't know, whatever. But if there's great exposés. There's a great expose put out. I believe it's by Glenn Beck. I believe it's by The Blaze, or a former member of The Blaze, the whole expose on what Harry Dunn did on the day. And his whole testimony is a lie. And they put people in prison based on Harry Dunn's lies, Michael Fanone's lies, Aquino Gonell's bold-faced freaking lies, disgusting, soulless, perverted morons. These are the heroes that are being celebrated. I'll bet you Fanone shows up for something with this thing. Just absolutely disgusting. All right, let's go to the next one. Polymarket tweet. So here's more lies. Polymarket, which by the way, I'm starting to despise Polymarket. And by the way, it was Polymarket and what's it, Aaron, again?
Kalshi.
Kalshi.
Mm-hmm.
Kalshi that sponsored Zohran Mamdani's communist free grocery stores in NYC. So for now on, you're going to have to take what Polymarket's a polling service costs you. It's a polling service. You're going to have to take their polls with a grain of salt. So then I've actually enjoyed Polymarket up till now. But this right here, okay, is it true? Well, let's look. Just in, the U.S. economy lost 92,000 jobs in February. They expected to gain 55,000. Well, let's break it down using Grok. The BLS report, Bureau of Labor and Statistics, report pins 92,000 job loss mainly on big healthcare strike. So when you're striking, that means that you're not currently working, and those have been attributed as lost jobs. Sector down 28K, especially physicians' offices down 37K. That's from a strike. Plus ongoing drops in federal government employees. So when you're losing jobs in the federal government, you're gaining money against the debt. You're actually taking down the debt. That's how Trump has cut $600 billion off of our deficit spending, not debt, but it will obviously deficits accrue to debts. But now he's spending $1 billion a day in Iran. So anyway, plus ongoing drops in federal government jobs and Info 11K. Multiple outlets also cite severe winter storm Fern disrupting construction, transport, and leisure. Prior months revised week or two. Unemployment edged to 4.4%. For those of us my age or older, and you remember the 70s and 80s, 4.4% unemployment is really, really good. All right, I got a couple more minutes. Let me dive into some John Cornyn stuff. I'm just so much. I don't know, I wanted John Cornyn or Gavin Newsom. I'm kind of sick of Cornyn. Yeah, it's good. Hey, all right, Brent, I'm gonna make Brent work here. Skip way up the libs of TikTok tweet just in Gavin Newsom's wife. Found it? Let me know. So we're going to skip ahead because I want to get, there you go, perfect, let's do it. I'm going to skip Cornyn. I'm sick of talking about Cornyn. This is all his red flag crap and everything else. He actually is against the wall. I got videos on it all, but let's have some fun with Gavin Newsom. All right, so here it is, Libs of TikTok tweet. Just in, Gavin Newsom's wife has reportedly been pocketing millions of dollars from her charity, which supposedly combats, this is why you need a multi-million dollar charity, to combat harmful gender norms. So you get up every day and you go, I'm going to work. I'm going to go to work. You're not going to, save lives. You're not going to, to do surgeries on people. You're not going as a cop. You're not going as a doctor, lawyer. You're not going as a preacher or pastor. You're not going as a mechanic or a plumber. No, you're getting up to combat harmful gender norms, which what on earth even is that? She personally paid herself nearly 1/3 of the nonprofit's total income. Now, how much you want to bet this is an NGO? Every year, according to the Daily Mail. By the way, they also received a portion of the $141 million that was raised by the leftards who did the concert to rebuild the Palisades after the globalist leftist bourgeois elitist Palisades fire. Some of that money went to Newsom's wife. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that wild? Now, again, let's just break it down in simple terms, shall we? Say they bring in $3 million per year. She pays herself $1 million to distribute the remaining $2 million. And that's just rest of her Democrat staff, because you know that this NGO is fully staffed by leftist, globalist, bourgeois, elitist Democrats. We know that. So it's typical NGO behavior. All these millions of dollars are going to combat harmful gender norms, and she pays herself 1/3 of the entire amount of money going into this charity to dispense money. And again, it's probably along this line. So I'm just making up the numbers. $3 million comes in, and she pays herself $1 million of that, and then pays the rest of her staff another $1 million. So they are paying themselves $2 million to disperse $1 million to combat gender norms, which all that will be is hiring attorneys that are Democrats and conducting seminars that are conducted by Democrats. So all of the money that this alleged charity brings in to combat gender norms, harmful gender norms, all this money goes into basically propagandize for Democrats, pay Democratic Party consultants, pay Democratic Party attorneys, and pay Gavin Newsom's wife. That's what's happening. That's how it all works, by the way. When they have a homeless coalition, whenever you see the word coalition, run for your life. Run for your life. Whenever you see a homeless coalition where Gavin Newsom has lost $24 billion since he's become governor, the only way for you to continue to get your money as a homeless coalition is for homelessness to continue. So why would you ever want to solve the problem? That's how NGOs work. Ashley Savala video, new California taxpayers are paying for Kamala Harris. Give me a Kamala, Aaron.
Kamala
Harris's security detail for her intentional book tour. Play it for me.
California taxpayers are on the hook for former Vice President Kamala Harris's personal security as she travels the country for a book tour.
Political director Ashley Zavala is the first to report this story. She's here now in the studio with what we've learned so far.
Golston and Andrea, multiple sources tell me California taxpayers have been and continue to pay for the former vice president's security detail. Dozens of California Highway Patrol officers have been traveling with her in and out of the state and in some cases the country for her book tour. Everyone we spoke to for this story acknowledged the intense political moment we're in right now and the threats facing her and people in both political parties. But we're asking the question, don't taxpayers deserve to know how their money is being used?
With several stops left on her nationwide book tour, Vice President Kamala Harris continues to use California Highway Patrol officers as her personal security. Multiple sources unauthorized to speak publicly about security matters told KCRA3 she has dozens of officers that have been traveling with her for nearly 6 months and counting. The long list of stops have included cities across the country, plus London and Ontario. The tour continues through California this month before stops in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. She's promoting her book, 107 Days, a memoir about her brief campaign for president after Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 race. Governor Gavin Newsom's office, which ultimately approved the protection, said it does not comment on security arrangements. State officials won't provide specifics or say how much it's costing. Sources tell us there are still credible threats against her.
All right, so there you go. Now, she has sold 289,000 copies. And she's done a worldwide, or I should say countrywide tour, and they are rotating dozens, quote, dozens of CHP officers to protect Kamala Harris. This means to be a Democrat. Now, remember, Kamala got a $20 million advance for this book. Why is she not? And again, you'd be like, why is she not paying her own security out of that money? Well, you would think that from the monstrous sales of this book, that, now remember, that's 289,000. That's what we're getting from Grok. That's actually highly inflated because, as Aaron said, they sell them to themselves. Yeah. It's actually just sold. It's basically sold to bots, is what it's sold to. Nobody's reading it. That's why nobody has any idea what's in this, what's even in this book in her intentional book tour. But it just shows you once again what it means to be a Democrat in 2026, where you are using. I mean, Brent and I were talking about the various money that we got paid to work details from our outfit. Back when I was still a cop, 2017, they would pay the sheriff's office like $100 an hour, and then the cop, because you're paying for, the car and everything else, and the cop, we would get like $43 an hour. It may have not been exactly all that. I know what mine was. It was like $40 to $45 an hour. Think about that. They're basically 24/7. 24/7, 10, 12, 15 cops at a time while she's out making money, while she is out there actually working. She's not a government employee of the state of California. She's the former vice president. And I love that Trump canceled her detail, as he should have, her security detail, after a certain amount of months. But she's out there. This is for her own personal profit, and the taxpayers have to pay for it. And again, even if she was poor, it shouldn't happen. But she got a $20 million advance on this. She has $20 million. That's not to mention all the millions of dollars she had before the $20 million. And by the way, her husband Doug is a multi-millionaire. So why in the world? It just shows you what money grubbing, greedy worms these people are. It really does. It shows you that how detestable people in the Democratic Party are. That you're a multi-millionaire making taxpayers pay for your security on your book tour where you're personally profiting. I mean, that's not many books to sell, by the way, and it's all fake anyway. But anyway, I had to show you that. We'll end it right there. 10:12. That's good. Monday night short show. We usually go about 3 minutes longer, but anyway, I just try to put the brakes on around 10:15. Well, it just turned 10:13. But anyway, we got any rants tonight, Aaron?
We have 3.
Got 3 rants. Let's hit it.
Jules 21 Hours donated $10. War in the Middle East fatigue is real. Sending care packages today to troops there for Iran brought it all back from Desert Shield Storm, OIF, and Afghanistan.
I know, it just never ends. That's the whole thing. It just never ends. And watching all the videos and watching the, the excited language from Rubio, from Lindsey Graham, and all these people that are excited about the war. And the thing is, I like Marco Rubio. I do. I don't love him, but I do like him. And I think he's done a really good job in his multifaceted roles inside of the Trump administration. I really do. But again, I'm against the war. But I'm for the troops. And like sending care packages, all for it. All for supporting the troops, 100%. If this gets to be a protracted war, I will look into how to support the troops. Because I love the troops, I'm just against the war. I love Donald Trump, but I'm against the war. That's how it is. But it does. It brings back, it is middle, Jules 21 Hours summed it up perfectly. It really is Middle East war fatigue. I've seen it. I don't know how many. I mean, you have the big ones. It's Afghanistan, it's Iraq, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, all that stuff. I'm just sick of it because we get nothing out of it except $1 trillion debts. All right, go to the next one for me, Aaron.
Skunk71 donated $10. Tom, did you ever go to Calico Jacks for Wings on University? By UCF? Love TLP Podcast and Foundation Church.
I never did, but you got to remember, I went, UCF, I graduated from UCF in 1991. So, I don't know if it was there. Calico Jacks sounds familiar to me, but I think there's a Calico Jacks in Inglewood. So,
yeah.
So it might sound that maybe for that reason. And then plus, it's all different now. Like UCF, when I went there, had 19, I think we ended with 21,000 students. It's now got between 66,000 and 70,000 students. I mean, it's always in the top 5 or 6 largest universities in the country. So it's huge. And it's just a totally different world there now. I've driven through there, not overly recently, but somewhat recently, before 2020, it's just a totally different world. Went to some football games in 2018, 2019. But anyway, I don't think so. I mean, I'm almost 100% sure I didn't. But anyway, definitely had my little hot spots there. A lot of it, you get discounts for your student ID or whatever. And one of those was they had a 10-piece Kentucky Fried Chicken deal, and this was after dinner. I had already eaten dinner, and I go there at 10:30 at night, and you get 10 pieces for $9.99. Well, I'd eat all 10 pieces. I mean, all of it. But anyway, and that's why I weighed almost 300 pounds. But anyway, all right, let's go to the next one.
Hugo_Stiglitz donated $5. Aaron, can't wait for Crave. Credit when credit is due. Best worship team in America.
Woo.
Jesus Have It All was a banger last Sunday. You guys gonna write and compose your own song soon?
Aaron, that's you. Put yourself on, brother.
We're working on stuff. Just wait and see. Cuba's next.
Aaron is awesome. I mean, really, it is. I mean, our worship team is fantastic. I feel bad for them sometimes because they are so good and people are so excited. Then I come up there and just start flamethrowing everywhere, burning down all the progress that they made. If it was just our worship team, this church would be 2,000 people instead of 1,000. If it was just, you had some really soft-spoken guy come up there and just, start singing Barney songs, I love you, you love me. Go, Aaron.
They see our worship team videos and then they're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna check that church out."
Yeah, they think, man, and they think they think that we're the ultimate arc church. And so they think it's gonna be super nice. They think we're the standard kind of lukewarm evangelical church. You're gonna hear absolutely nothing when you come up, and that's why people get up and leave. They still don't leave during worship.
It's like icy hot. It's icy. It's like icy hot.
It goes on cool and turns up real hot. And you're like, I really hope I didn't clip my nuts with that stuff because then my day is over. But anyway, the worship team is fantastic. And they're all fantastic people too, just so you know. All right.
We got one more.
Oh, we got one more?
Yep,
okay.
Extra one.
Conservative Warriors 65 donated $5. Jesus, did you know album release Monday? Let's make the world know Jesus is king.
I don't know what he's talking about, do you?
No.
I have no idea, buddy, what you're talking about. I'm sure you do. I have absolutely no idea what that is, but I have no idea. Listen, I do miss an occasional story, but that one I don't know. Love you anyway, though. All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right, love you guys. Back here tomorrow night. Stick around for the post games. A lot of dog stuff. You're going to love it. There's only one political thing in there, the entire thing. So stick around for the post game. It's awesome. Back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Let me give you an advance warning. There will not be a podcast, a TLP podcast, Thursday or Friday of this week. I do my son's weigh-in, and my son's fighting on the UFC Fight Pass. He's not fighting for the UFC. He fights for CFFC, but they're on the UFC Fight Pass. They're like a undercard or a minor league for the UFC. But anyway, he's fighting for the it's Cage Fury Fighting Championships. on Friday. So I'll be there. It's right during the podcast. And then I run as weigh-in. You have to drop a bunch of weight day of the weigh-in and stuff, like, a lot of weight. And it's miserable. So I run that. We drive up weigh-in and all that stuff. So anyway, don't be worried. Don't be worried about anything. Thursday, Friday, just have to do the weigh-in and then the fight. So just putting that out there. I'm going to try to remind everybody Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. But anyway, love you. Stick around for the post game. Back here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. As always, love you all. God bless you.
Pauze! Bitte! Pauze! Yes! I'm trying to! Pauze! Nein, aufpassen, bitte! Wait!
Look, you fat fuck Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of fucking people. You hear me, you fat asshole? This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I want to hate him more. I pray to God in heaven, God reign the righteous reign of Trump derangement syndrome. Pray for me, Lord. I'm your vessel on this earth. Pray for the people that listen to this. We want more. We want to hate the son of a bitch so much that we can't see straight.
Hey, you coming straight over the middle, or are you going to go?
I'm going to go over there eventually, but I'm going to start right here and just kind of set it up over. Susan, don't be doing that. So go back down the ladder. What are you going to do?
The ladder?
Your ladder is not straight. Susan, seriously. Yeah. How's your knees?
My knees, they're okay. That's cool.
Okay, we're done.
Welcome back to Is It War? World War I. War. Correct. World War II. War. Correct. The Vietnam War. War. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl. That was a congressionally authorized counteroffensive. Don't worry, we get right back on track with the Korean War. War. No, that was police action. No, they had tanks and stuff. Well, the police have tanks now, don't they, Carl? Okay, the First and Second Iraq War. War. They identify as military action. It's a bit like pronouns, except we kill people. All right, how about Libya? War. I'm sorry, that was kinetic action, not a war. Venezuela. Well, it was an active war, I think. No, I'm sorry, that was a law enforcement operation, not a war. Iran. It's a war. We're doing war things. No, not war things. Preemptive retaliatory de-escalation action. No, that's not a thing. All right, judges. Okay, how about the war on terrorism? War. No, it was a coalition-led conditional operation. How about Afghanistan? Afghanistan was the war on terror. No, I'm sorry. That was a pre-authorized defense stabilization initiative. Okay, can somebody tell me the rules here? War on poverty, Carl. Well, poverty? That's not even a thing. I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you. It was a trick question. We don't have poverty in the United States. The Dow went up to 50,000. Couldn't even get that high. Amazing. Don't even worry about the Epstein files. War on Christmas. The coffee cup thing? No, that's not a war. It was a war for the soul of the nation and whether or not I can wish my children Merry Christmas. Okay, you know what? I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Today's magical phrase, Carl, you just became a United States Congressman. Congratulations, Representative Carl. Merry Christmas. It's March. Well, okay, happy Hanukkah.
He's dead.
Did I kill him? We're gonna have to jumpstart his heart. 100 volts. Didn't work.
Oh
no! 200 volts. Oh my God. 400 volts.
Oh shit!
I said no, ma'am. Tear your butt up. No.
Give me paw. I'm trying to do that challenge. Come on, give me paw.
Good boy, Pinky. Oh, are you okay, Pinky? What's wrong, buddy? Look at me. What's wrong with your...
Hi, how you doing? Are you choking? Are you alright? Get out of the car. Come here. Okay. You got it? Holy shit.
Heartbeats fast, colors and promises.
On the floor and a costume.
Watching you stand alone. All of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more.
That's a pretty nice souvenir. Number 19, the racket goes to that guy. Can't believe it.
Still beauty and all she is. I will be brave. I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000.
Podcast is all about. We talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.